What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 76, and we start today's episode off with a player conversation as Alfredo Morelos comes to me and says thanks for listening and giving me an extended run in the team. And I was like, hang on a minute, didn't you just say that the last time we chatted? And he did. It seems like every single time Morelos comes to us, it's regarding game time, which isn't a surprise. He's got the crucial first team squad status, but he says the same thing over and over and over again. And don't get me wrong, I am glad that EA have added player conversations into the game this year. I should say player chats into the game, because before, your players could talk to you, but you couldn't talk to them. But it is kind of annoying how it's so repetitive. The same thing gets said over and over and over again, and it really does break the immersion, really. But still, on the back of the win against Spurs in the last episode, we did cut the gap on Tottenham Hotspur to 11 points in the table. But as you see here, as this game was being played on Sunday, we were taking on the champions Manchester City here at Bramall Lane, who right now have the best away record in the division, undefeated in 13, winning 12 of those games. After Spurs won their game prior to this one yesterday on the Saturday, the gap was now back to 14 points. So once again, with just a few games remaining, there's a large amount of ground that needs to be made up, and if we're going to do it, we can't afford any more defeats. So our first game today against the best side in England, the current champions of the league, and right now top of the table, Manchester City, Pep Guardiola, in a dress rehearsal for our FA Cup 5th round tie against them in 10 days time. So taking them on here at Bramall Lane on the back of back-to-back big victories against Spurs and Rapid Vienna in the first leg of our Europa League round of 32 tie. Now facing Pep's boys, who I don't think we've beaten in the entire series so far. We knew it was going to be a tough test, especially with this guy in the City team. Leroy Sané, 5 minutes in, gets his 20th goal of the Premier League season and extends his lead as the top scorer in the division. Heads in the cross, makes it 1-0, and within 5 minutes of a massive game where we couldn't afford to drop points, we were already behind, and 12 minutes later, it became 2. KDB turns Scott McKenna, rolls it across the face of the 6-yard area, and Lo Celso, with the coolest of touches, just strokes it through the legs of Dean Henderson and trickles it into the back of the net. 2-0, 18 minutes in, the away fans celebrating. Sheffield United, after back-to-back victories, were 2 goals down on the champions already. Pep Guardiola celebrating. He knows they're on course as things stand for back-to-back league titles, but for us, in this game, in a match where we couldn't afford to drop points, we were getting torn apart time after time after time again. 2.5 minutes to go in the first half, it became 3. Wonderful move by the visitors, and as Iñaki Williams was played forward, he simply couldn't miss, smacks it past Henderson into the back of the net. Sheffield United 0, Manchester City 3. You could hear the boos ringing around Bramall Lane, but the fact of the matter is this team were just too hard to stop. We weren't playing especially badly, they were just far better. Boos at half time, 3-0 down, chants from the away fans in the away end singing sacked in the morning, you're getting sacked in the morning, and I had no place to hide in this game. 3-0 down, and quite frankly we were all at sea. So I made a tactical change at the break, switched from a 4-1-2-1-2 diamond narrow to a 4-2-3-1. The reason being was quite simple. Kyle Walker and Ollie Shaw just couldn't cope. There was no support for our fullbacks in this game. They had no protection from the midfield ahead of them, because of course they're playing through the middle of the park. So I switched to a 4-2-3-1. To be fair, we did start the second half off better. 10 minutes after the restart, DCL sent forward by Eze, chips it over Edison and into the back of the net to make it 3-1. But the fact of the matter is, we knew that there was only one clear winner in this game. We might have got back in the match, got the deficit back to 2, but the fact of the matter is, City were the far superior side, and once Karim Benzema came off the bench, the French veteran smacked it past Dean from range. What a strike this was like. Surrendered possession with McKenna. Benzema takes one touch, gets it out of his feet, and bang, it's past Henderson in a flash. It's 4-1 City. Tony was subbed off with 11.5 minutes to go. Boos as he came off. Poor performance from Ivan after scoring in his last 2 games against Spurs and Rapid Vienna. He was anonymous out there, didn't play well at all. We were 4-1 down, but really the fact of the matter is, it wasn't a case of us not playing well, it was a case of Man City flexing their muscles and showcasing just how good they really are and how unstoppable they were. 7 minutes to go, Raheem Sterling cutting from the left. Agent Kyle Walker perhaps let him go there as he rolled it across for Lo Celso's second. The boos rang round at full time as the final score was announced. Sheffield United 1, Manchester City 5. Pep Guardiola's side rocked up here and absolutely dominated from start to finish. Home fans booing. It was just paper over the cracks, those last 2 wins. Clearly, we beat Spurs, massive win away in London, big 5-0 win in Austria, but it was just paper over cracks. We're trying to fix a bloody water leak with a plaster. It's not going to happen. We just got absolutely humiliated in that game. But City really were a different animal in that game. Could not stop them every time they went forward. I was saying to myself, goal. It's going to go in. And it was. It pretty much did every single time. 5-1 the final score. Humiliation, and that means now with 11 games to go in the Premier League season, the gap between us and Spurs is back to 14, and I don't know, man. I just don't think it's going to happen. We knew at the start of the season that qualifying for the Champions League, breaking into top 4, we talked about it at the start of the campaign. Even with the big budget we got given this season, it probably isn't going to happen. We've just not got the quality to break up the top 6, and the fact of the matter is, breaking into the top 4 is even harder to do than just scraping the Europa League place like we did last year. I don't think it's going to happen now. There's still a chance and we'll fight to the very end, but that really was a humiliating loss and a clear show in the gap of class between the 2 teams, and we're facing them in 10 days time at Bramwell Lane in the last 16 in the FA Cup. My word, I'm not looking forward to that. Anyway, second of 3 games today as we take on Rapid Vienna in the second leg of our Europa League round of 32 clash. Of course, after winning the first leg 5-0 away in Austria, we did field a completely weakened side for the game, with Manchester United coming in 3 days time at Bramwell Lane on Sunday afternoon. We took the lead through McBurney. The Austrians did battle back to level things before the break, and there were a few little boos at half time as we were tied at 1-1, but in the second half, just after the hour mark, we would restore our lead. Alfredo Morelos going for that Europa League golden boot, got his 9th in the competition as he smacked it in, and directly after that he wasn't happy with me because I subbed him off straight away as he was going for double digits in the Europa League. But I said to Alfredo as he walked past me on the touchline, mate, I'm starting you on Sunday afternoon. That's why you're coming off now, as this tie is all but over. So 2-1 the final score. We do return to winning ways. It's 3 wins in our last 4 games, but not exactly the most convincing win there against the Austrian side, but didn't really matter. We'd already qualified heading to the game anyway because of that big first leg victory. So through to the next round with a 7-1 aggregate scoreline. So following that, you can see the tournament prize money was here and the match rescheduled emails were there as well. So we were about to find out our draw for the next round of the Europa League, or in the round of 16 we'll be facing Schalke, the German side, with the first leg being away in Gelsenkirchen at the Veltins Arena. The games are sandwiched in between clashes against Brighton and Huddersfield, so hopefully we'll be able to get through that tie. I will be resting some players for the tie regardless. When I look at the teams that are here, there's only 2 English teams left. That's us and Manchester United. I must say there are some big boys still remaining, including Milan, who are taking on Roma in an all-Italian affair, but I must say, I think we've got an outside shot of winning this. I really do. The board have said get to the semi-finals, but I think we've got an outside shot of going all the way. Yes, we're underdogs, no doubt about it. And if we are to do it, we'll need to get our form sorted in the league, because we can't go into the Europa League battles with poor, inconsistent results in the Premier League like we've been having over the past couple of months. However, maybe an outside bet for quite a few punters out there. Sheffield United, Europa League champions in our first ever season in Europe, we certainly rank outsiders, but don't rule us out. Anyway, following that, there was some more good news. Jayden Bogle is returning from his broken toe, so buzzing about that. He won't be ready to play in the next couple of games, but I'm targeting a return for that first leg away at the Veltins Arena against Schalke. He's back in training, so pleased with that. Kyle's done pretty well since coming in, but let's be honest here, we'd much rather have Bogle back in our team. We really have been missing Jayden since he went down to broken toe, so great to see him back in training, but he won't be featuring just yet. And for our third and final game of today's episode, this was like the third of 3 cup finals. How sometimes managers will say in the league when it's a really big game, this is like a cup final. This is like a cup final. The Man City game was like a cup final. The Spurs game was like a cup final, because we know we can't afford to drop points if we are to make the top 4 come the end of the season. And with all 3 of these teams being ahead of us in the table right now, Manchester United leapfrogging us going to 6th as we drop down to 7th place, we couldn't afford to drop points once again, and we really needed the win. And so heading into the game, I did decide to make a big change. Ivan Toney was dropped to the bench in this game as Morelos and DCL would start up top together in this match, but it wasn't on the attack where we had the first highlight of the game. It was trying to defend a Manchester United cross where Andres Pereira was denied by Dean Henderson, making one of the saves of this season. What a stop by the young goalkeeper, who has been under fire of late and receiving some criticism lately due to the fact he's not been at his best. He's conceded quite a lot of goals, and he has let a few goals in that really a goalkeeper of his class should be saving. We'll talk about making amends. What a stop there. We should have been a goal down, but instead a fantastic reactionary save ensures it's still goalless. And from the failed corner, we go up the other end, and oh my goodness, we need to see a couple replays of that. Alfredo Morelos getting the start, and I shouted to him on the touchline, that's why I subbed you off on Thursday night. I was going to start you in this game in the afternoon, and this is why. Pick that one out. Sergio Romero. Talk about top bins from the Colombian. Takes a touch, gets it out of his feet, has a little look up, takes a glance at where the goal frame is, and right into the top corner, smacks it home. Morelos starting ahead of Tony. What a big decision. 1-0 Blades with one of the goals of this series. Absolutely incredible strike there by the former Porto, Rangers and Helsinki man, as the Colombia makes it 1-0, and in the 23rd minute, oh, how about this? DCL running through one-on-one, taken down from behind. You can hear the chant, off, as the referee walked over, and no hesitation from the man in blue. Clearly a last-ditch challenge that he got horribly wrong. Last man, cynical foul, takes him down, and a chance for us to go 2 goals up from the spot with the man advantage as well. Calvert-Lewin, our top scorer, would take it against the Argentine and find the back of the net as well. I really don't want to jinx things, guys, but I have to admit, I do think I am getting slightly better at penalties now after the woeful start I had to the FIFA year. But DCL smacks it home, doubles our lead, makes it 2, and with United down to 10 men as well. At half-time with 45 minutes to go, this game was looking like it would be ours, and what a response after the 5-1 thrashing by Pep's boys just 7 days ago. With 13 minutes to go, this was incredibly interesting. Free kick for the Blaze, 20 yards out, and can I call this my first free kick goal of FIFA 20? I don't think so, but it is a goal from the free kick. Barry Walsh, talk about intelligence from the teenager there. That's the sort of thing that players in their 30s would do. Those wily old seniors would learn a few tricks, but instead the youngster shows off his tricks there. Dinks the free kick from 20 yards into the middle due to the crowd of bodies being around the 6-yard area, and DCL rises above his man, loops the header over Sergio Romero. Bit of a theatrical dive, I'll be honest here, as the ball was sailing way over his head, but Calvert-Lewin bags his brace and his 17th and 18th goals in the Premier League this season to make it Sheffield United 3, 10 men, Manchester United 0. And with 8 minutes to go, I must be honest here, this was really nice. See, Wilfred Ndidi says to Ivan Toney, come off the bench, get us a goal. Listen, mate, yes, all the focus is on Calvert-Lewin and Morelos today, but come on, man, seriously, if we are going to make the top 4, we can't rely on those 2 strikers alone. We need you back to our best. We need to see Toney hit the back of the net after a shocking performance a week ago, and that's what we want to see. The team playing for Ivan there, as the shocker makes it 4-0, ensures the icing is on the cake, and sadly United would ruin a clean sheet later on. A shot ricocheted off Scott the block there, straight back to, was it Pereira to turn it in? Not too sure, but either way it's 4-1, and Manchester United do bag a consolation goal. Regardless, it doesn't distract from what was a fantastic win for the Blades. 4-1 the final score, and after the thrashing we had 7 days ago at the hands of Pep Guardiola, that is exactly what we needed to bounce back. These have been like 3 cup finals here against Spurs and the Manchester clubs here in February. We've won 2 of them, but we did have that big loss to the champion City as well. Still, with 10 games to go, as you can see, we cut the gap on Spurs once again to 11 points. However, Tottenham do have a game in hand and can once again extend the lead to 14. There's 10 matches to go. There's still a lot of ground to make up. If we are to do it and break into the top 4, I think from here on out, we'll need to be absolutely perfect. But that will end today's episode of Career Mode, guys. So a big thank you for watching. We hope you have enjoyed it. If you did enjoy today's episode, please drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for the next episode featuring that FA Cup last 16 tie against Man City very soon.